Hello everyone, welcome to JD's Journeys. My name is JD and today I'm talking about my top 5 fantasy series. As you can see, I've got a bit of a beard, but that's in honor of all the wizards of fantasy. Nah, not really. I will be shaving. I just haven't been working in the past few days. I'm on a bit of a holiday, but going back to work very soon and it's going to be ridiculously busy. So, let's talk about fantasy. So I'm going to count down my top 5 fantasy series that I've enjoyed reading. However, not all of them are finished. Some of them I have only read 1 or 2 books of, but I've really enjoyed them so far. So I have included them. In future years, I may revise this list, of course. At the end of the video, wait for some honorable mentions as well. Number 5 is Harry Potter. I know some of you are going to be thinking, why is Harry Potter number 5? Why isn't it number 1? Well, it's just that it's intended for young adult audiences and it's not quite my demographic. However, I do really enjoy reading this book. Or not this book, this series. It was a lot of fun when I read it and I got into the world very easily. I could imagine everything very well. And I really enjoyed it. So it is in my top 5 because it is one of my top 5 favorite fantasy series. Number 4 is the Shannara series by Terry Brooks. Now this is not considered to be one of the best fantasy series out there. However, it is the first fantasy series that I read a huge number of the books. I love going into this world. It is probably I would say, kind of my fantasy home. I just enjoyed getting into the world, into the Four Lands, and I really love the Shannara family, the Olmsfords, and everyone else. It's just been a lot of fun to read, and I've read most of the books. I haven't read any of the newer books, though, so I need to catch up. But this is one of my favorite series to get into. But there are some others that are much better. Number 3 is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Of course, many people will know it as Game of Thrones, as it is on TV. However, that is the name of the first book. I've read the first 3 books. I have the 4th book. I don't have the 5th book yet. And I'm going to be reading the 4th book as soon as I can get to it. And then the 5th I need to buy. Number 6 is coming out in 2017, I hope. But this series is dark. It is serious. It is unpredictable. And some of my favorite characters have died. Yeah. So a lot of people die in this, and it just seems like there's no discrimination against who's going to die. Anyone can die. It is violent. It is full of sex. It is really dark. But I absolutely love all the plot twists. And, you know, sometimes some of the characters that I hated, I actually end up enjoying. Jaime Lannister. Some that I enjoyed, I kind of lost interest in. You know, Tyrion is starting to get a little bit, how should I say it? Well, not as interesting, really. Maybe he'll improve in the next few books. Number 2 is Malazan, Book of the Fallen by Steven Erikson. I absolutely love this book. The first book was pretty good, but it didn't really grab me as much as I thought it would. But once I read the second book, Dead House Gates, oh, I was hooked. That was amazing. That book was just incredible. I love his world building. He's developed this world that is totally unique in fantasy. The cultures, the races, they are unique. Never seen anything like it before. And he's developed this history. And really, Steven Erikson is an archaeologist and anthropologist, so he's an expert on cultures. And it's just incredible reading these books. Some of the characters are great. I really love a lot of the characters, and this is a dark series. It is very serious. A lot of people die as well, but he describes combat and military tactics really well. I just really love this series. And it's a long one too. I've only read the first 2 books, and the main series has 10 books. However, he's written more, and there's also another author who's written in this series, and that is Ian Cameron Esselmont. Those two created this world together when they were playing D&D in the 1980s. So this is another one of those worlds that it was actually created in a role-playing game. And number 1, it has got to be Lord of the Rings. Well, I wouldn't just say Lord of the Rings. I would also include The Hobbit and The Silmarillion. Lord of the Rings is the epic fantasy series. It is the fantasy series that started it all. I started off reading The Hobbit, which was my gateway into fantasy, and I loved it. The world was just amazing. And then Lord of the Rings came along, and yeah, that was it. That just made me feel like I want to go to this place. I want to see it. I love the world. Like the elves, dwarves, hobbits, dragons even. Just incredible. Then I read the Silmarillion and I realized how deep this world is. Just how much history and how much went into actually creating this world. There's languages that Tolkien created. It's just amazing. And there are some more books. I've got The Children of Húrin to read, and there's another one coming out. I don't remember the name, but it's supposed to be coming out fairly soon. So I'm looking forward to those 2 as well. So number 1 is definitely Middle-earth. So what missed out on this list? So here's some honorable mentions. First is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I'm really enjoying this series so far. I've only read the first 3 books out of 15 books. And I understand that the later books are excellent, just really good. And the ones in the middle kind of drag on. Dragon. Yeah, the most recent one was The Dragon Returns. So they kind of drag on. That's a bad joke. Anyways, I am really enjoying this book, and this could crack into the top 5. I don't know. We'll see. I may have to do a top 10 list in the future, so maybe I'll do that. And then, if you're more interested in some light-hearted fiction, I would say Terry Pratchett's Discworld. That didn't crack into my top 5 either, but I love this, and it's really funny. Some of the books are incredibly good. Some of them are just good, not great, but good. But I really enjoy the humor in these books. They're just a lot of fun to read. And finally, it's Forgotten Realms, especially the books by R.A. Salvatore. I haven't read that much, only some of the books featuring Drizzt, and that would be the Icewind Dale, and I started on the Dark Elf trilogy. I have to read more, definitely have to read more. Luckily, my sister has pretty much every book, so I have access to the whole series. And this could end up being in top 5, depending on how much I like it. Again, I should do a top 10 list, shouldn't I? So what do you think of my ranking? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. Also, check out these videos over here. You may see something you like. So thank you for going on this journey through fantasy with me. See you in the next video.